Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Dalton from the Petrol List, and I'm not in my studio. I think that's fairly obvious. So let's just go ahead and get started. All right, where am I? Yeah, the Las Vegas GP. There are so many stories going on with the Las Vegas GP and the lead up to the Las Vegas GP. I'm gonna get started with that, and then we'll do the race review. So one of the first things is GM could actually enter Formula One as soon as 2026. And this is just after Michael Andretti stepped down. So that really tells you that it wasn't about GM in particular, it was folks just didn't like Michael Andretti. So I did just a little bit of research on that, and it looks like folks really didn't like Michael Andretti's attitude. I guess he rubbed a lot of Formula One officials and FIA officials the wrong way. And, you know, there's a lot of politics that goes on in these high-level sports, these high-income, high-visibility sports. And they really didn't want Andretti to get any credit for a team in Formula One. So it was a little bit of a slap in the face to him on purpose. That I think it was the day after, a couple of days after he decided to step down from day-to-day operations of Andretti Racing, that they said, hey, you know what, on second thought, sure, GM, come on in 2026. There are rumors that Ferrari might be the power unit supplier in 2026, and then GM will have their own power unit in 2028. I'm gonna probably make a video on that in the off season because there'll be less races to talk about, and there's gonna be a lot more information by then, so watch out for that. So this just in, Formula One will have 22 cars on the grid in 2026, and one of them will be General Motors. Michael Andretti will be the chairman of the board or some such crap. He will not be the team principal. I wonder who the drivers are going to be. All right, back to the show. Turns out Red Bull doesn't give you wings. As a matter of fact, well, they do give you wings, but because of the cost cap, they couldn't bring the properly engineered wings to the Las Vegas GP. They actually had to trim the wings that they had to give the lower level of downforce. You know, I bet you there's some zip ties involved in that as well. But that does let you know that the cost cap and going over budget does actually impact the performance of the cars, even if it's a small amount of money that they're dealing with. I'll let you guys noodle on that. Verstappen tells Zach Brown that he can still win championships without the fastest car. If that is not, you know, a little bit of a subtle middle finger, I don't know what is. But I'm glad. I'm actually glad that people can, you know, take these little jabs, can have this little bit of fun, because that's part of what sporting is about. It's about the personalities. Speaking of personalities, Toto Wolff is left eating a little bit of crow regarding his cognitive decline statement that he put in his book about Lewis Hamilton, especially after Lewis Hamilton's brilliant P10 to P2 drive in the Grand Prix. Lap after lap, I think after mid-race, lap after lap, he was doing fastest laps, essentially mimicking Verstappen's accomplishments in the previous race, and it was a phenomenal sight to behold. I mean, he was basically racing like primetime Lewis Hamilton, and I think it's great for new fans to see that, because they need to actually know how good Lewis Hamilton was. Lewis Hamilton is nothing like the 58-year-old Mike Tyson. Lewis Hamilton has a lot left in the tank. That was a tragic fight, man. I hated to see the highlights of that. I didn't even watch that fight, to be honest. I mean, anyway, let's get back to Formula One. Now, some famous quotes coming out of that brilliant drive. Zach Brown quoted as, "Go Lewis, go." Damon Hill saying regarding Toto Wolff's comments, he might live to regret that. And then Toto Wolff doubling down. George's drive was from another planet. whilst Lewis Hamilton had a very strong car. Now, I think that perhaps it's because Toto Wolff didn't see the track dominance chart that Formula One put up on the screen. I will put it up on the screen right here, or maybe like overall. But Lewis Hamilton was actually the dominant Mercedes driver during the entire race. Where he wasn't dominant was in qualifying, and he did actually talk about that. I'm going to come over here and reset the camera. Oh, it resetted. It reset on its own. Okay, we're going to keep it going. Let's get into the actual race. Why don't we? Okay, camera is freaking out. Oh, is it my shoe? Camera. Okay. All right, let's get into the race. Lap 1, George Russell converts pole position into an early race lead with a great start. I got to give George Russell credit here. He actually did have a phenomenal race, so credit where credit is due. Ferrari picks up second and third, and the McLarens drop immediately out of position for any kind of podium running. Lap 4, Leclerc tests Russell for the pass, and he can't make the pass stick. Lap 7, Lewis Hamilton is looking for a pass against Piastri. Couldn't land it, but is showing promising race pace, and it was kind of a premonition for what was going to come for the rest of the race. Lewis Hamilton showing absolutely dominant race pace throughout the rest of the race. Lap 8, Verstappen overtakes Leclerc, and the Ferraris seem to be having a hard time with their tires in the beginning of the race. I think it was the medium tires that were experiencing a lot of degradation. And also in lap 8, Lewis Hamilton passes Piastri en route to a completely amazing drive. Lewis Hamilton is up to 5th place, and Gasly retires his Alpine due to a power unit issue. Lap 16, Lewis Hamilton overtakes Norris, and at this point it is looking like Lewis Hamilton is driving in his prime. Lap 28, we have a really confusing situation. A pine cone literally just dropped down from this tree, which is making me curious about what else is up there and whether or not I'm in any danger. No problem though, I am wearing this protective Mountain Dew cap, so I should be all right. Let's keep going. Lap 28 saw a really confusing situation. Sainz was in 3rd, Leclerc was in 4th, and Hamilton was in 5th. And Ferrari, sorry, there's a plane now. It's dangerous out here. And Ferrari tells Sainz to go ahead and swap positions. It takes Sainz a long time to swap positions, and then so when Sainz finally gives the position over, Leclerc takes 3rd, Sainz retains 4th, and goes into the track exit into the pit with Lewis Hamilton, and the pit wasn't ready for him, and so they say, hey, you need to go back out. And so at the last minute, Sainz rejoins the track and loses a ton of momentum there. Hamilton pulls far away, and finally Sainz on lap 29 actually pits. And then after that, Ferrari is fighting for position back and forth, trading P3, and ultimately Sainz ends up with podium. Lap 41, Verstappen's RB20 can no longer fend off Sainz and his faster Ferrari. And had it not been for Sainz's mid-race pit fiasco, he may have even been fighting for 2nd place, maybe 1st place. And then after that, Lewis Hamilton goes fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap, and there is absolutely no sign of cognitive decline on Lewis Hamilton's part. So in the end, we've got George Russell P1, Lewis Hamilton P3, we've got George Russell P1, Lewis Hamilton P2, Sainz P3, and of course we have a new world champion in Max Verstappen. And I think, unfortunately, the loser of the day in terms of the public has got to be Lando Norris and his very lonely fastest lap that absolutely nobody talked about, and Toto Wolff sitting there eating crow as his former champion driver, well, still champion, 7.5-time champion driver, drives to a victory that I'm sure he's going to repeat many, many times.
Yeah, George's driving was just from another planet. He's kept that under control and managed it all the time. I think the defending against Leclerc was spectacular, and Lewis came from P10 with a super strong car.
With Ferrari over the coming years, and then poor George Russell, his victory was kind of downplayed by all the drama and a world championship that occurred during his first win of the season. That was the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Man, oh man, I think 2025 and beyond, these are going to be some phenomenal seasons. Unless you're a Red Bull fan, we did suffer through a little bit of boredom, but I think that 2024 and beyond, my gosh. And you know, I really do have to say a huge congratulations to Max Verstappen and the humanity that he has been showing as of late.
Necessary. I mean, there's so many more things that I want to do in life, and also just have a bit of fun, catch up with my family. Because I know that there will be a day, of course, that, nowadays, sometimes my dad or mom calls me and I'm like, I'm not busy, like I'll call them back later. But I also know there will be a day that they are not calling me anymore, because they won't be here. And these kind of moments, it makes me realize that it's not all about racing and Formula One. And
Vettel was quoted as saying that him and Max Verstappen actually get along. Red Bull coming over and giving Lewis Hamilton a much warmer congratulations than Toto Wolff ever did. I think that things are starting to regulate themselves, and I think that different personalities are bubbling to the surface in a good way, and some personalities are being exposed for the negativity that they have been, possibly hiding for a while. It's loud out here. Anyway, I have been Dalton. This has been the Petrol List, and you have been absolutely great. Thanks for putting up with the nature-themed studio that I'm filming out of here. And with that, I'm out. I will see you next week and next season. Look at that. That's gorgeous. All right, we'll talk soon.